Hey everybody, Bill Shafer here. Time for another Growing Bolder. Growing Bolder. Now, how's your week going? I hope you had a great one. We had a really interesting one. Hey Ronald, we had a really interesting week. We got to Growing Boulder is in full swing on all cylinders. We have so many different projects going, and we're really stepping up to meet them all. We've got a season of PBS shows that we're working on. We've got a new show that's coming soon called Growing Boulder What's Next. The television show is going to be so much fun. And we went to Tallahassee and actually talked to the legendary football coach Bobby Bowden, the second winningest college football coach in history, and only because he had a few games taken away because of a scandal. He actually won more games than Joe Paterno, but had a couple of them pulled away. What an interesting guy. He's 91 years old, and he was awesome. He was sharp. He was funny. He was really neat. I can't wait for you guys to see that interview. So keep an eye on growingbolder.com, and you'll be seeing our interview with Bobby Bowden soon. I want to welcome everybody who's watching this program, Growing Boulder, now on Facebook, which is so cool to be able to stream live to, and Twitch, which is a platform that we're sticking our toe in, because you know what? Growing Boulder should be everywhere because people of experience are everywhere. Nothing is just for the young. Twitch is an interesting platform with lots of opportunities. So we said, why not be there? Why not cultivate a following there like the one we have in Facebook with tremendous people? And we're on YouTube as well. YouTube is a great place to be for all kinds of videos. You can find pretty much everything you want. We've been doing this for over a year now. It started right when the pandemic did, reaching out to people online because you couldn't do it face to face, and it turned out to be an amazing tool. All of these live streams and Mike Nannis, pop on in here. Mike is the guy behind the scenes who makes everything. Mike and I, how are you, Mike?
Hey, how's it going?
Mike and I had been talking about what happens. You know, it's online stuff. You guys know, with internet connections, on what happens if something goes wrong. And we've been pretty lucky. Have we had anything terrible or catastrophic happen?
No,
this program?
We've been in our own self-contained little world here. The technical marvel that is streaming has been a lot of fun. We've been playing around a lot. But Bill, you and I have had the opportunity to talk a little this morning about the old days and what it was like when we ran into technical difficulties back in the day. Sometimes,
go ahead. I'm one of those guys that lives in fear that, okay, what do you do if this happens? Or what do you do if this guest isn't there? You've got like an hour interview scheduled and the guest disappears. What happens? And Mike is the creative guy there. And tell him what you did, Mike.
Well, so if we run into an issue, we'll just buy ourselves a little bit of time and run something like this.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
I still love that. I still love that music.
It is great. When he showed me that, guys, I was kind of in my own mind hoping, boy, I sure hope we have the opportunity to use that, because it's awesome. I love that. It's
Bill, sometimes you just got to make the opportunity.
Run it again. I love that.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
I don't know, Mike, if it's the video or the music that I like the most. Herb Albert doing his thing. Mike was saying before, right? You were telling me, Mike, before we went on, that we should, like, it could become a drinking game. We could use coffee. What a great morning thing it is. And every time that pops in, you get to have another cup of coffee. And then by the end of Growing Boulder Now, we will all be so wired, it'll be Monday before we know it, won't it?
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. But
all right, that was good. That was really nice.
I'm out. Go do a show or something.
Okay, because this is good. It's going to be really fun today. This is a great topic. I don't want to say the word sports because sometimes that turns some people off who aren't sports fans, but there's so much behind sports that we can pull from and we can learn from. I was thinking about, do sports hold the secrets to the fountain of youth? Well, there's pretty much evidence out there to make you wonder. In fact, if to find a poster boy for growing bolder in sports, you don't have to look any further than you probably can guess it yourselves, Tom Brady. But in fact, there are a number of high-level athletes in their upper 30s and even well into their 40s these days. But we're about to meet John MacMillan. You look at that picture, it looks like it comes from the 1950s, doesn't it? Because it does. This guy can top them all. He is a two-time Stanley Cup champion who is still playing hockey at the age of 85. Now, in just a few minutes, he will reveal to you and me and all of us the secrets to his longevity, to overcoming health challenges, and perhaps most important, why he drives a sweet cherry red Corvette. But first, let's take a look at who some of the pros are who are out there pushing the age envelope right now. So this is a pretty interesting list. Oldest active athletes by sports. Kevin Harvick is 45 years old right now, heading into this weekend's race. He is 8th in the Cup Series standings. That's pretty good. Zdeno Chara in hockey, tall as can be, 44 years old, plays for the Washington Capitals against his longtime team, the Boston Bruins. They play tonight at 6:30. Caps trail in that one 2-1. How about Albert Pujols? What an amazing baseball player he is. He's 41 years old. California Angels just cut him loose, said they're going young. So the LA Dodgers picked him up. Last night, Pujols hit home run number 668. That's the most of any active player and the 5th in baseball history. Pujols, we'll see what he can do with the Dodgers. Uslam Haslam, interesting guy. He's 40 years old. He turns 41 in June, basketball player with the NBA. Hasn't played in forever, but he's still on the roster, and they're paying him $2.5 million. They say he's worth every bit of it just to be in the locker room. His wisdom and experience calm the team, center the team. They would rather have him not playing than a prospect in there who doesn't have the experience. So that's a really interesting thing the Miami Heat are doing. And in tennis, Serena Williams may be nearing the end of her career, 39 years old, I think, maybe 40. She's the second oldest ever to even be in a Grand Slam event. She's won 23 of her own. She lost the other day, but she's still aiming for a French Open start on May 30th. So there are a lot of people really representing out there. It's an interesting topic, and we're going to get some pretty interesting insight from Stanley Cup champion John MacMillan in just a minute. But first, don't forget, in many areas around the country, the new season of Growing Bolder TV is underway, and that means fascinating new episodes. They're filled with entertaining and inspiring stories of people who are living life to the fullest at all ages and finding the most interesting ways of making a difference. And the stories are kind of to show us that we're all capable of living lives of passion and purpose. And when we see other people do it, sometimes that's all it takes to light the spark inside of us to make us start to think that we indeed can do it too, because sometimes you know how it is. We start going through the motions and the days and weeks and months fly by. One of the stories to watch in this week's episode, I love the way to set this thing up. It's almost like, say, it starts with a little girl who loves to play sports in a time when little girls didn't play sports. Well, instead of finding something else to do like everybody told her, she pushed back. She fought the system. She went on to become a collegiate basketball star, and then she turned pro and eventually became the president of the WNBA. It's a pretty good story. Now she's dedicated herself to creating opportunities for the women and girls out there that she's had to fight for. Yeah, that ordinary little girl made a pretty big difference. And here's just a preview from our story on Donna Orender.
First of all, let me say this. I am lucky to live in Jacksonville. I love Jacksonville. I never would have thought that. In case you can't tell, in a few more minutes, I am a born and raised New York girl who never thought she would leave New York, ever.
But she did, and what a life she's had. Donna Orender is a former collegiate and professional basketball player who might never have had the chance if she hadn't stepped up as a young girl to fight for her right to participate in sports. You didn't realize you were that kind of person when you were 14 years old and said, hey, I want to play tennis in high school. Why can't I play on the team? And they said, well, girls don't play tennis.
Well, they don't play on the boys' team. That's what they did say. And I said, why not? Why not? Just give me a chance.
She turned that chance into an opportunity to play pro, but she wanted more. A stronger voice, a position of leadership. She became a sports executive, spent 17 years at the PGA, and then became commissioner and president of the WNBA, helping solidify the league in nearly every respect. After 6 years there, she was ready to take on a new mission, her own organization, Generation W, which she was proud to locate in Jacksonville.
I'm all about trying to understand and recognize that we all have value and that that value should be equally recognized.
She was so interesting. And, you would think that somebody who's done all that, their glory days are in their youth, in their past, she's fired up. She's really inspired. And the things she's doing are making a difference in an awful lot of lives. There's a lot more to her story we'd love for you to see. So where can you find it? Well, if you're in Florida, we have a list of stations. And if you're elsewhere, just check your local public television or PBS station schedule, because the schedules are different for every station in the country. But say you're in Orlando, you'll find it on WUCF-TV, Fort Myers and Naples. You can tune into WGCU. In Gainesville, WUFT. In Tampa, WEDU. In Jacksonville, where Donna Orender lives, it's on Jax PBS. 2 stations in South Florida, depending where you are, WXEL and WPBT. More towns across the nation have it scheduled later in the summer, so be sure to contact your local station to see when and where Growing Bolder airs near you. All right, this is the meat of our get together today. Recently, I had the chance to meet with John MacMillan, and I kind of thought the last thing that my friends here online are going to want to do is listen to some retired athlete talk about sports, even though it's playoff time in hockey and already in the middle of the first round there, and the NBA playoffs start tomorrow. But the deeper we got into conversation, the more interesting I realized this guy was. And he doesn't come off like some jock at all, but instead the things he has to say are relevant to everybody. So after thinking about you and the comments that you leave here on the page, which we love and encourage you to keep doing, I thought, let's give it a shot. Let's see what all of our friends online, all of you, have to say about it too. So let me start this thing by asking that question which we began this entire stream with. Once again, what is it with athletes these days? Something's going on. I mean, Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl at 43. And if you're still competing in your 40s, that's pretty impressive. Unless you know who John MacMillan is. The guy is a hockey player, 2-time NCAA champ, also 2-time Stanley Cup championship. And let's see, when was his most recent championship? Oh, yep, Toronto Maple Leafs. That was in 1963. How many years ago was that? And oh, by the way, he's still playing at the age of 85. From Idaho, let's say hi to John MacMillan. Hey, John, how are you?
Very well, Bill. Thank you.
Listen, I've played my share of beer league, and I didn't want to stop. But if I skate now, oh my gosh, my knees will be sore for 2 weeks. What do you do?
Well, I've religiously gone to the gym 3 times a week since I can remember. And I still do that right now. As soon as we're through here, why I'm dressed to go to the gym. So I've stayed active.
You know, one thing that I've become great at, as time has gone on, is making excuses. And I go to the gym too, but boy, I can think of some great excuses to maybe not go today or maybe not go tomorrow. What does it take to focus? Are there times you don't want to go?
Not really. I enjoy it, and I really feel if I don't go, then I can feel it. I'm missing something.
Well, you know what? That's a great point, John, because people will say, wow, you're still playing hockey at your age, and think, wow, you're sure lucky, but nothing happens by luck. I mean, generally, things are the result of hard work or hard effort. So tell me a little bit about your team and what kind of league is it that you play in?
It's basically like you said, it's a beer league, but right now they don't give us time to have a beer. We have to get off the ice and go get out of the facility. So we really missed that part of it. But I've had both my shots, so I'm really ready to for the beer league to come back now.
Hey, John, are there there aren't other guys like you out there, are there? Are there other 80-year-olds on your team or that you play against?
No, probably in the late 70s and some early 70s. Most of them, I think, are in their 50s or late 40s.
Well, you know what? It doesn't get any better than that. And I think that people are starting to figure out that it's activity. It's activity that keeps us who we are for as long as possible. When things don't look like the gym, we're more apt to stick with it. Now, if I know hockey, there's two reasons to play. One's the love of the game, and the other one you touched on too. The other guy is in the room. Talk to me about the friendships that come from the sport, that even at this age, the camaraderie and what that means to you.
Well, it really is true of the friendships and the camaraderie. And we have just developed the best relationships that you could ever think of happening, even if you were your next door neighbor. They're that close. We're that close. We're that friendly. The ladies all travel when we travel, and maybe they don't enjoy the games as much as we do, but nevertheless they show up and they cheer us on. So, and here in Boise, why? I couldn't name. I'd be here for hours naming all the people that I would call my friends, just from the association with the hockey.
See, that's great, John, because I'm sure you've seen many instances with friends of yours too. As we get older, especially as we retire, our world starts to shrink. You don't see your friends as often, maybe, and you kind of struggle for a sense of purpose. But when you're involved in something, especially when it's something that you love, like hockey, man, so now you've got friends that are counting on you, people that are wondering, hey, where's Johnny? He's 5 minutes late, and hey, we got places to go and people to meet. That it kind of keeps you sharp and keeps you active. Do you buy that?
I think that particularly for me in the hockey, and how hockey, you have to think right now. You don't have a set play. Every play is it happens at the moment. And the other thing there too is my team, which would be 13 to 15 guys. And if we play in a league that has 7 teams, now I'm getting to interact with about 100 people. And they all, during the course of the year or years, they become your friends.
And how great is it? I know that they've got to be thrilled too, because to meet somebody who played in the original 6 league, much less somebody who was on 2 Stanley Cup winning teams. I mean, people don't understand there were only 6 teams in the league at that time, 21 guys on a team. So that means there were only 120 something NHL players in the world. And you got to play with legends. I mean, how proud are you of what you've done, being around guys like Red Kelly and Frank Mahovlich, Johnny Bauer, and playing for Punch Imlach?
You named them all, or just about all of them. I would wonder why that happened. Punch had to he had to see something in me that allowed him to keep me around. I wasn't a superstar by any means, but I was generally the 10th forward. And as you said, to play with the likes of Frank and Johnny and Red Kelly and Davey Keon, you can go on and on. You can name that whole team, and it's just about an all-star group.
And then after Toronto, it's kind of interesting too. You moved on to the Detroit Red Wings, where that year the team made it to the finals against Toronto again, and there you are with Gordie Howe on your team.
And Sid Abel comes in and he says, MacMillan, you'll be playing with Howe and Del Vecchio. And, well, okay.
Oh man, you could not have picked two more amazing legends to be sandwiched around on the ice. Were you thrilled or were you terrified?
Somewhere in between that.
So you guys ended up having a great season. Like I said, you made it to the Cup Finals, and Toronto ended up getting their third Cup in a row. And when your career ended, when it was over I guess in the early 70s, did you think about like hanging up your skates, saying, "Look, I've had enough of this. I'm just going to move another direction"?
Well, I was living in Memphis I moved to Memphis. I got married and moved to Memphis, and then Memphis didn't have an ice rink, so that was the end of it. And then, about 15 years later, I moved to Boise, and Boise had an old makeshift arena, and there was hockey going on there, and I didn't go out there for the longest time. And finally, my brother Alistair, he said, "Well, let's go out there." So I was back at it.
It's fantastic. And, we don't want to make it sound like you just breezed through life, because if there's one thing I think that all of us have in common, we face illness and we face injury and physical challenges. I know a couple of years ago you had to have you had to have hip surgery. What have been the most difficult things in your life, John, that you've had to fight through in getting older?
Well, these I've had both hips replaced. I had one replaced in 2011, and then I had the next one in 2018. But I don't even know that I have those. I'm just perfect with them.
John, you're a walking miracle. I didn't know there was that much. Was there an inkling of a time in any of those where you thought, well, maybe this is a sign that I should stop?
Never entered my mind.
That's awesome. We need a little more John MacMillan in all of us, because I was talking about excuses sometimes when the back's a little sore, I guess I'm not going to go to the rink today. But that's probably when you need it the most.
And it's really easy to say, well, I don't think I'll do that today. But then you must think about the good that it does for you and the good that it didn't do if you don't do it. So.
Well, I know part of it's probably genetics, because you've got that fantastic hair that I've never had since I was 14. Not jealous or anything, but it's also, I'm sure, it's attitude and also the things that you have in your life. How important is your marriage and your relationship with your wife, Jolene?
I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for that. It's very, very, very important. I don't think that I don't think we've had a crossword.
That's amazing. And I know that a few years back, folks, you'll get a kick out of this. When John turned 80, your wife got you a special present, but not something you'd ordinarily associate getting someone in their 80s. What'd she get for you?
I got a 1991 Corvette. I was pretty much speechless for a while and in tears.
Well, I think what happens, John, is when you follow your passion, no matter what it is, I know a lot of people out there have different interests, but I share yours for hockey, and I can tell you the hockey community is extremely supportive, and it's a lot more than a sport like many activities are. You see more people your age, my age, involved in sports at this stage than ever, because it's more than just the event. It's the friendships, it's people counting on you, it's you wanting to be there for others. In your career, you've been around amazing people. You've had great accomplishments, and every day you're showing us what's possible as we age. So from your unique seat in the arena, what advice can you give us as to what's really important in life?
Don't stop. You've got to stay active. Whether it's going out in the yard and working in the yard or walking around the block. I couldn't imagine not being able to do something that I felt got my heart rate up, and at the end of the day, I felt that I'd done something for me that would allow me to be here tomorrow.
Well, John, that's fantastic. It's inspirational. It's you. It's not pretense. It's something that you live by, and that's why you are one in a million, a two-time Stanley Cup champion from the days of the original six, who is still at the rink and playing hockey every week, going to the gym at the age of 85, still loving his life, staying in shape and making a difference in the lives of others. That's the kind of future that's possible for all of us if we make good choices, put in the work, and have a little bit of luck. And like John says, also look for new things, make new experiences, make new adventures. What an uplifting conversation with the great John MacMillan. All right, did you have your bold start to the day? Well, if not, Growing Bolder has one every single day to help you get going in the right frame of mind. Today's meme says, when all else fails, dance. Not sure who that quote's from, but whoever it was sure never saw me dance, or they never would have said it. What's the saying? Dance like nobody's watching. I love that. Just get out there. You be you. Cherish every day and every opportunity to do something cool. Remember, you can't just wait around and wonder why nothing exciting ever happens when you can be the excitement. Try it. Don't be a spectator. It's your life. You get to be the star. And did you know Growing Bolder will send you a meme just like that one to help you get off to a bold start each and every day? All you have to do is ask. Head on over to growingbolder.com. First of all, that's the mothership. For more fascinating interviews, uplifting stories, we've got useful tools and tips and the kind of resources that can help you get through anything. And it's also where you can find our shop full of Growing Bolder gear and our amazing magazine and learn about all things Growing Bolder. But, back to the bold start. If you become a Growing Bolder insider, and there's no charge for it, you get access to our premium content, issues of our digital magazine, and you will start receiving your Bold Start emails each day. And there's a lot more too. Head on over to growingbolder.com and see what it's like to be surrounded by positivity and inspiration. We're going to take a minute now to check out the feedback from our live stream this morning, see who's here and what's up. But before we do, I need a little bit of coffee, so please stand by.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Okay, I promise. It's enough of that. I love that, though. That music is going to be going through my head all day long, I think. Looking at our viewer comments here, Patricia Bishop here each and every week. We're so happy to see you all the time. Good morning to you, Patricia. She's in Stafford, Texas, reaching all the way there. And Stephen Caravello is from Creel Springs, Illinois. I don't even know where that is in Illinois, watching our little stream today. And Patricia is inspired by the sports theme, too. She thinks that's pretty cool. I'm going to send you some of my dance videos with my original songs. All right, we get things like that from you. We'll include them in the stream because it's when you see one person do something, you start thinking, you know what? Maybe I can apply that to the thing that I'm into, and the next thing you know, you're having more fun than you ever thought you would. Stay active, and you'll never feel old, no matter what age you are. One of the comments that we got today. Deb Barr says, move however you can. She's cycling 14 to 18 miles every other day. She walks 4 to 6 miles every day. She's 68 years old and she feels great. So, man, maybe I should walk to the mailbox and back a little more often. Diana Cass wants to tell us how she became a comic at the age of 54. Aren't these great? Wouldn't you love to hear these? Let us know, folks. We'll share these stories with people because they inspire everybody. Rita Hainberry loves the way we begin the program with the music and the countdown. And we kind of do that to let people on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook know that the live stream is about to start. But yeah, it really is a lot of fun, isn't it? Justina on FM. Follow me on Twitch. So we're really happy to be in Twitch and starting to develop a community there as well. Somebody also put that Donna Orender is such an inspiration. I'm glad you caught that, and I'm glad you like that, and I hope you get a chance to see the Growing Boulder television show as well. But like I said before, if you ever have any questions, or there's so much more to Growing Boulder than a lot of people know about. So check us out at growingboulder.com, and that's kind of the gateway to everything. And do sign up while you're there for the Bold Start, and you'll be off and running. It's a great tribe to be part of. You'll really be glad you did. Well, I guess that's going to do it for us for today. Thank you. Thank you for spending your time with us. And what do you say we all get out there this weekend and start growing bolder? I'm Bill Shafer. We'll see you next time.